Hey Spring Arbor students, how are you today? This is week number 3 that we're in for MBA661. This week we're looking at market segmentation and what it takes to divide up a market, why you want to do that. We're also going to be looking at how you identify potential customers in those markets. And in some markets you're going to have multiple customer target groups, so bear that in mind. We're going to be looking at the different approaches, or an approach I should say, to market research. And then we're also going to look at the importance of target marketing, knowing who you're going to market to and then tuning your message specifically for that group. And along comes with that customer relationship management, or CRM. And then we're also going to be talking about throughout the week, how you make sure that you're integrating your faith into what you're learning as well as into your practice. And I'm also going to share with you an example from my world about how we do some of our marketing. So the first thing you need to know is right out of chapter 9, and that is what a market is. And this is not new information, but just to repeat, it's a group of people with sufficient purchasing power, authority, and willingness to buy what you're willing to sell. And a target market is a group of people, with a belief that they're most likely to buy goods and services from you. All right. Segmentation of a market is division of the total market into slices, into pieces. And this is pretty self-explanatory, but markets are not homogeneous. They're very often heterogeneous. They've got a wide differentiation across the whole market. So you want to segment it and tune your market, or tune your marketing for that particular segment that you're focused on. This is an example of market segmentation. So you can see there's geographics, demographics, psychographics, which I kind of like. That's a nice little name. And also behavioral type of segmentation. Often on internet buying or marketing on the internet, we do a lot of behavioral type targeting. People typing in certain keywords and that sort of thing. Another thing that comes out of I think this is out of actually chapter 10, is this market research process. And you'll notice it starts with defining the problem, which, come on, that's pretty obvious, right? We have to define the problem. We do some sort of exploratory research to kind of formulate the problem a little bit better. We put some hypotheses together, and we go through the process of collecting data, analyzing the data, coming up with an action plan, and then starting all over again. And in the example I'm going to talk to you about here in just a second, we generally use all these steps, not necessarily every single one of them, but we do follow this process. Another thing to remember is when you are doing research with your particular segmentation, your market segmentation, or your particular target group, you may want to use observation, where you go look, see what people are doing. You may want to survey them, or you may want to do some controlled experiments. Probably most of the stuff that we do and that you do, it'll probably be through observation and or surveys of your customers. Okay. And then out of chapter 11 is this idea of customer relationship management, CRM. And that takes, an understanding at the base here. We're talking about the understanding of our needs, our customers' needs rather, receiving feedback from them based on those needs, and then also just doing ongoing measurement. So you're always in this loop of plan, do, check, act with your customer and what they need. And by way of example, out of our industry where I work in the staffing industry. We have two different customers. We have employees and we have employers, and we're trying to always match them together. And that's by this little circle symbol in the middle there, where we're always trying to we consider ourselves matchmakers, matching employees to supervisors in the employer ranks and that sort of thing. So, but we have had a problem. If you're at all familiar with staffing, you know that it is quite difficult right now to find people to put into the workplace. Between all the things going on, it's just difficult to do that. And sometimes it switches the other way, where we have plenty of employees and not enough employers. But right now we're in the situation where we have all kinds of employer opportunities, all kinds of job openings, and very few people to match those. So we had a customer call us the other day saying, hey, you got to help us. What can you do more? What are you seeing other people doing? How do we get more people in the doors, matching up those job orders that we have with that particular customer? So what we did is we set to the task of we wanted to understand more of our employees' needs. Now we hypothesized what we thought they were, and I'll show you in a minute. We were right a little bit. We weren't right entirely. Our demographic is primarily that 18 to 34-year-old age person, mostly men, but for sure women working. These are light industrial jobs. Their income is probably $50,000 or less as a household. Education is usually high school, maybe some college, and so you can see the list there. Different levels of family stages and different backgrounds and that sort of thing. So we understand our demographic pretty well, but what we thought we would do is within about a 3-day period, push a survey to ask 3 simple questions. And I'm going to show you the results of that survey, because remember, we're trying to understand our employees so we can help this one particular employer find some people, get some more people into their company. So what we found is we ask employees 3 simple questions. We know also with this particular group, if they're going to answer a survey on their phone, it's going to be about if you can keep them for a minute, you're lucky. So we designed this to be a 30-second survey. We asked them which item below would attract you to a job. Better benefits, higher wage, more vacation time, flexible schedule. By and far, a higher hourly wage was more attractive to them. And we also asked them which item would keep you at your job. So not just what would get you into a job, but what would keep you in your job. And it's somewhat split, but mostly people said, hey, I want to be hired on full time. Remember, these are temporary people, temporary staffing people. They want to be hired on full time. And they also want, close second to that, they want reasonable work hours. They don't want to work every weekend. They don't want to work 10 to 12 hours a day. Okay? And then the third question we ask is, what is your ideal work schedule? And by and large, overwhelmingly, full time. So we talk about this part-time opportunity. Yeah, some people want it. We talk about the gig opportunity, as needed. Not so much in this category of folks. They want full-time work. So when you boil all that down, keep in mind, we're trying to understand one target segment, one market segment of our entire population that we're working with, and these are the employees, and they're saying, hey, we want higher wages, we want to be hired on sooner, and we want to have a regular work schedule. We talk about work-life balance and stability. This particular demographic wants that. And they want to be full-time. They're not necessarily interested in as needed or gig work or even part-time work. All right, so from there, what we're doing, what we have done actually, is we put together a list of action items to help market ourselves differently, adjust our marketing for this group of people. And I will say this is not our entire market segment of this demographic. It's in one geographic location. So they're like these filter segmentations are built on top of each other. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful to you to kind of give you a real world example. Remember, God is still on his throne. And also, before I forget, don't forget up top here, reminders coming up, some things that are due. So listen, have yourself a great week.